Hey everyone, Tony D with another hot take. I can't believe we're still talking about Joe Biden's scandals. I mean, we are months away from an election, and Biden's still digging a hole for himself that's unreal. It's unreal. I mean, just listing all the downsides of Biden being president. First, you got that he's too old and he's fallen apart. He's probably suffering from cognitive decline or dementia or who knows what. He just looks frail and he could pass away in office in his first term. So that's number one. That's probably the most important thing, that he's just too old for the job, assuming he could get elected and assuming he could even survive the campaign. Number two, that means his VP pick is so crucial because you're really voting for whoever he picks as VP, right? And whoever he picks as VP has to be president. Has to be president. There's no way this dude survives a full term. No way. So he hasn't picked that yet. And even if he does, who wants to vote for a guy who's basically either going to pass away or retire before he's done? Who wants to do that? I don't want to vote for a president like that. If Trump was going to do that, I wouldn't vote for him. I wouldn't do that for any of my candidates. I wouldn't do that for libertarians. No way. I want to vote for the guy. I don't want to vote for a guy and then his substitute because his substitute's going to come in. That's insane. But it doesn't stop there. First off, Biden has the entire baggage of the Obama administration to deal with. And there are so many scandals there. This video would easily be an hour if I listed them all. But, I mean, you have things like the IRS investigating conservative groups. You have the scandal that was Solara? Is that how you pronounce it? Solara? The whole solar panel thing that went belly up. The bailouts of the car companies. You have the website for Obamacare that they spent $1 billion with a B on, and for a website, for an actual website. Fast and Furious, of course, which if you haven't heard about that, you just might as well just turn off the video. It's too complicated to explain. So you got all of that. Now you got the Ukrainian thing. The Ukrainian thing has blown up again. Biden's obviously done exactly what they accused Trump of. Biden got his son a gig and shook down. And like, this new revelation means nothing to me. We already have Biden on tape confessing to blackmailing the president of the Ukraine. He just blackmailed him. He said, fire that prosecutor, or you're not going to get $1 billion worth of aid. I mean, there it is. I mean, there's another call. Okay. But it's not as good as that. So you got that blowing up again. I mean, what is the reason to even vote for this guy? He hasn't had one coherent virtual town hall yet. I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You think you're going to go back to the Obama years with this guy? How can we go back? Too much time has passed. It's been almost 4 years. So much has happened. The economy exploded. Trump built a wall. He walked on the DMZ between North and South Korea. He's trying to pull us out of the Middle East. He's pivoting to China. You're going to bring back Biden? I don't even think Biden could list all those things off the top of his head, much less deal with the complex machinations of them. Well, what's he going to do? Do a 180 on Trump's deal with China? Do a 180 on the new trade deal he negotiated? Do a 180 on the deal with the Iranians? You can't go back to that now. Oh, the Iranians are pretty pissed off. I don't think you're going back to the Iranians anytime soon to negotiate that deal. You got to get a whole new deal now. Get back in on the Paris Climate Accords. The climate healed itself. You got to rethink that whole thing. Everything has to be redone. Everything. Can't go back. Can't go back. No one can go back. So what does Biden even have to offer at this point? Oh, and let's not forget Sleepy Joe's handy hands, right? He's got the Me Too allegations from Tara Reid. He's got more allegations on top of that. And we've got minutes and minutes and minutes of footage of him groping little girls. Not little boys, but only little girls. In weird, uncomfortable ways. And if you haven't seen those videos, just Google them. My God, they're everywhere. And it's creepy. Him sniffing people's hair. He made Angela Merkel uncomfortable. The woman runs Germany, and even she was like, ew. When you make a German leader uncomfortable, you're creepy, okay? You're creepy and weird. Trump Jr. had this, I don't know, this tweet or this take on some, I guess it was on Twitter, making some sort of, I guess, pedo joke about Biden, and he snapped at him and said something back. There hasn't been a real strong defense of Biden on that score that I could say. Because Biden's behavior is wrong. He's acknowledged that it was, well, I'm a little too touchy-feely. Yes, you are. Especially in many, 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 many cases. There's just too many cases. And Trump will have that running on a loop, by the way, the entire time you're trying to beat him in a debate. Everyone's going to see that. Everyone. I don't know why this guy ran. He could have run the first time against Trump. Probably would have won if he had gotten a nomination. If Hillary Clinton didn't arrange an accident for him. I think he would have been a much stronger candidate in 2016, but now the man's falling apart, in my view, and that we're still talking about him, and the DNC's reaction to him. This, well, he's the presumptive nominee, maybe. I think at this point they'd be better off with Bernie. I really do. I mean, yeah, Bernie's going to lose too by a wide margin, but at least Bernie wouldn't humiliate them. I mean, Biden's humiliating at this point. He's humiliating the DNC. Is he even trying? Is he capable of trying at this point? I just don't see it. I just don't see it. He cannot be president. You cannot put up a guy who's non-functional and then do the work for him. That's not how a president works. We can't have a situation, and this was an ancient Rome thing. What was the name of the guards? The guards for the emperor. There was a group of guards, personal guards for the emperor, and they began running the show. They began, because they held the life of the emperor in their hands, they essentially ran things, while whoever the emperor was would just party and drink and get fat and rubber stamp whatever they wanted, because they could just make him disappear. And he knew that. So he did what they wanted. It was the something guard. Damn it. I can't think of the name. Praetorian Guard. I think it was the Praetorian Guard. Yeah. So, I mean, you think you're going to do that with Biden? Have like a Praetorian Guard around him to actually run the country? No, that would be an absolute disaster. And it would all be globalist, of course. They would have to be. How else are you going to run it? Otherwise, you'd need one person. You need his like wife to like, you know, set up a situation where he's like lying in bed and she delivers the messages and nobody gets to see Joe. I don't think that can happen. I don't think you'd want that to happen. I don't even think you want that to happen if you're on the other side of the Democrats at this point. I think it would be too risky. I think it would eventually come out. I mean, at this point, the brand of the DNC is so destroyed for almost anyone other than the most ardent DNC supporters now. What do they have to offer at this point? Joe is an absolute wreck. Their lineup, I mean, they had a couple of okay people in it, but geez. You know, and the latest is a Stacey Abrams running for VP slot. And, you know, now making all sorts of noise because she didn't get it or is not going to get it. You know, Biden made this announcement about, hey, I'm going to pick a woman as a VP. That shouldn't make a difference. You should say, I'm going to pick the most qualified person. Period. If that happens to be a woman, fine. This idea that, no, we got to pick a woman. We got to pick a woman of color. It's never enough for the woke idiots on Twitter. It's never enough. And those people, I don't know why anyone listens to anyone on Twitter. They're morons. Everybody on Twitter that is either there to sell you something or they're there to shoot off their mouth because they desperately need some validation in their life. Just like on Facebook, only Twitter's a little more immediate. So they shoot off their mouth. People do the most insane things on Twitter. They unburden their souls on Twitter in the public. Oh no, you know, my dad's gone into the hospital and I don't think I can handle it. Excuse me, I'm very sorry about your dad, but why are you just announcing this to everyone? It seems like a very personal family thing that you should take care of amongst your family and friends, not announce in a public forum like a mental patient. Please, someone feel sorry for me. This is the people the Democratic Party and Hollywood and a lot of people are listening to. Mentally deranged people. People who ask insane questions, personal questions, and then other people actually respond with personal questions. Hey, did you ever have who was your worst ex and why? I'm not going to tell you that on Twitter and announce it to the world. If it's a good story, I'm going to turn it into a story and make some money. I'm not going to announce it to the world, you mental patients. Who is following these people? They should not be listened to. Look, if you're a Democrat, you have to save the party. Because I believe the Republicans are going to sweep. And for a while, that'll be actually good. Because a lot of these Republicans will be in new areas. They'll be eager to please. And they'll do good things. They will try to do good things. But absolute power corrupts absolutely. And with the Republicans just steamrolling everybody, we're going to start having excesses the other way. Trump's not going to be in office forever. Trump may be a guy who's got some restraint or some ability to rein people in, but he has his faults too. These other guys all have faults. You think it's just Democrats who are authoritarian. Yeah, now it's mostly them. In the old days, it was the Republicans, and that could easily happen again if they get too much power. We need other parties to temper the Republicans, at least to keep them on their toes so they stay the kind of good party they seem to be right now. Anti-war. Yeah, they got their Lindsey Grahams and a few other people I don't like either. But those guys are on their way out, and they've been really reduced in terms of power. and they've changed their focus to a big extent. So the only avenue I see forward to save the DNC is to not vote for them this time around, to really, really just obliterate them at the polls come 2020. So hopefully they finally change their tactics and give you some other choices in terms of real candidates with real solutions. And not just people who are going to say, well, those guys screwed it up. I could do better than that. No, we need people with policies and ideas. And we just don't have it. Or, you could build up the Libertarians or the Greens. Something. But, the Democratic Party now is a disgrace. It's a disgrace to people from the 80s. And those guys were no great shakes. But at least they had some ideas. They stood for some things. Even if they weren't very effective, they were at least dignified. I mean, this Democratic Party is just floundering, dying. Joe Biden is just, I'm scared. A lot of times people vote against the guy they hate the most because they're so scared of them. I'm scared not because I hate Joe Biden, because I'm scared that if he got into power, he wouldn't be the president. He'd be a puppet of, I don't know who. I have no idea. His wife, his advisors, a cabal of globalists, the Bilderberg Group, who? Who's going to be running the country? It ain't going to be Biden. He's out of his mind. Don't vote for the Democrats, please. I'm asking you right now, because this is just too much. It's just too much at this point. I can't take it. I can't take the mountain of evidence against Biden. Is just, what else? What else is going to come out? What else could possibly come out about the guy?